Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Luke Sanders.
Hey, everybody, it's Brenda Sanders.
And we're here with Family Talk. So we're discussing what's going on with Halle Bailey because we want to encourage people that you can get out of the situation if you need to. If you don't know what's going on with Halle Bailey, let me pull it up so that I can get the facts right. Because unfortunately, it is all over the place. And some people, CNN, Yahoo, the Shade Room. So I'm going to read it from, let me see if I can find CNN again, TMZ, the Shade Room. I'm trying to find a place let's do ABC News. ABC News says, Halle Bailey seeks sole custody of son Halo after getting a restraining order against DDG. And even diving further into that, there was another source that said that she filed for a restraining order due to physical and emotional abuse. And the Grill says that Halle Bailey was granted temporary physical and legal custody of son, citing DDG's alleged abuse. So we were having a conversation about it, and, my mom was super passionate about it because, she didn't want to see anybody be hurt or, messed over. So I was like, let's go ahead and tape in real time because this is something I think, people can get something from. So what do you want to say about it, Mom? What were we talking about?
A lot of times things are going on behind closed doors and we don't know what's going on. There's a lot of people that's hurting, that's going through things behind closed doors. That's whether that's in the church or not. It's happening in the church as well as outside of the church. More so in the church because a lot of times you hide things and you just go to church and act like everything is fine. But when you get home, you're going through abusive situations, and some of it is physical and some of it is verbal abuse. But a lot of people don't realize that the verbal abuse is worse than the physical abuse, because a lot of times you could heal from the physical abuse, but the verbal abuse lasts longer because it stays in your mind. So there's a lot of people that's dealing with that. And if you are dealing with that and you want help, you can talk to a psychiatrist as well as the church people, somebody you could trust. I'm not talking about people that, the therapist. I'm not talking about people that's gossiping and running people's names down. I'm talking about one of these good, saved, sanctified old mothers, or just the mother of the church or the pastor that you trust, to tell them information that you can't trust anybody else with. You don't feel safe. If you don't feel safe, you need to talk to somebody and let them know you don't feel safe.
I absolutely agree with that. And taking it back to Halle, when you heard the news break, where'd you go mentally? What'd you think of when you first heard it, the news?
When I first heard the news, my heart just went out to her, what she had been going through, and nobody knew that she was going through it that deeply. It was sad to me. I just hurt for the pain that she's been in.
And when you told me, you literally just told me minutes ago, I was completely shocked. I didn't know she filed for a restraining order. I didn't know that she had temporary sole custody. I didn't know that he was abusive to her. This was a total shock to me. Now I know some things had happened, but I didn't know any abuse occurred. I just know that she was sick and he was trying to get the baby, but she was trying to care for the baby because they were both sick at the same time. I didn't know that there was an altercation. I didn't know her tooth was chipped. I didn't know a lot of stuff, so I was very surprised, and I was very disheartened. I don't know Halle or Halo or any of the family personally, but from what I have seen, she seems to be a really nice person, and no one deserves to be abused, period. But it's just even more unfortunate when somebody like that is a victim of abuse.
A lot of times I feel that, and this is just me personally, I'm not a therapist or anybody like that, but a lot of times some of the nicest people, loving people, are the ones that get hurt. The most. They get hurt because they're trying to help somebody that's dealing with their own stuff. They're trying to help them out of it. But if you think about it, only God can help and deliver somebody or what they're dealing with. We can't really help them, even though we love them. We can't help them through the situation. We can pray for them, but they got to want to get help for themselves.
Yes, that is so true. I'm just thinking about what you're saying and just digesting it. Looking further into the case, I looked on people.com and it says the things that you need to know are Halle Bailey has been granted temporary and legal physical custody of their son, which I talked about, and then she alleges that the 27-year-old rapper DDG abused her physically and emotionally, like I said, and then it's just, of course, it's always unfortunate when bad stuff happens, but it's unfortunate when they talk about the bad stuff more. But we just want it to be a place to where, we address the bad stuff, but we also are, like, giving love to her and to the baby and, to the situation. So that was the goal of this episode.
Yeah, we just feel like if we could help somebody in any kind of way, if we could say a kind word, not to bash anybody, even him, because I don't know what his situation is, but if we could say a kind word to help women and young girls that's going through these things, I want them to find a safe place so they could talk to somebody before somebody get hurt really badly where there's no coming back from it.
What would you want to say to Halle if you can talk to her personally?
I would want to say...
or what would you want to ask her? Or anything?
I think I would want to just let her know to hold her head up and things are going to get better. Sometimes it's dark right before the daylight hits. And then trouble don't last always. So it's light before the dark. It seems like you can be in a dark place or a dark situation and it kind of seems hopeless because your feelings are involved. Because when you love somebody, your feelings don't just stop because you're going through situations. That love, when you love for real and have pure love, it don't end like that. So it takes time. And even as she's going through the process, I pray the Lord will give her strength to help her get through this process, and she have some loving people around her. They can put their arms around her and show her that she is loved, and it's a brighter day that's coming, and it won't last always. And a lot of times you have to learn from your experience, and then she'll know some warning signs for the next relationship, what to look for that she didn't realize.
I would want to tell her, if I personally knew her, I would first just want to give her a hug and just tell her that, it'll be okay, and, no one deserves to be treated like that, and no one deserves to go through that, specifically her. And I would just want to make sure her, and I know he's not a baby anymore because he was born like 2 years ago, but just make sure that her and the baby was okay and that they're in a safe space, in general, and then that they're in a safe place, from him who was inflicting harm and abuse. So hopefully they are, and they should be, because she was granted a temporary restraining order. Well, no, the restraining order is temporary, right?
I'm not sure if it's temporary or is it permanent.
I know for sure that she was granted temporary custody of their son, but I would just want to make sure she's okay and see if there's anything that she needed, and I would want to pray for her and pray with her, because as anyone can imagine, that that would not be an easy thing to go through. And unfortunately, when things are filed, typically, when they file legally, it's usually public record, unless there's like a seal put on it, right?
I think so.
So I don't think she dropped the news. Like, I'm pretty sure that it probably hit the fan, or like it hit the public record. So I'm pretty sure going through this is not easy, and then going through this publicly is definitely not easy as well, because she's a whole artist, a whole actress. She has a whole career, and I'm sure this is what people are going to want to talk about. But let's not forget that she was the Black Little Mermaid, and that she sold about $500,000 in box office sales for The Little Mermaid when they scrutinized her for being the Black Little Mermaid, even though they don't got nothing to do with her, that she broke records with that movie. It was a top-selling movie of that year, 2 years ago in 2023. And that her first single got a Grammy nomination. So let's not forget who she is and not just talk about this, because this is temporary and this is something that she will get through, that she shall get through. She'll make it over this because she's an overcomer. So this is not it for her. She's very talented, and she seems to be a good person from, what I know. So she'll get through this.
And to go through this, it's making her stronger. She's a strong person to be able to come out and say the things that happened to her, and not try to get in a closet and hide everything and try to keep it to herself. But she did it the right way. going through the court systems, not trying to get physical and do everything in her power to hurt him in any kind of way, but she did it the right way.
And she did the smart way, because you were telling me she had proof of
the abuse.
Yeah.
And the scars and things like that. She had she must have kept records of everything that had happened, and that's smart to be able to do that as young as she is. A lot of times young people, not all people, don't think like that, but because she was thinking like that, she was thinking ahead. She wasn't getting on the internet saying this and bashing anybody. She just did what it took to handle business properly.
And she essentially gave him a cease and desist, because you were saying that he can't say her name or the baby's name or his content for now, temporarily, right?
Right.
So I don't know what other. I mean, if she really wanted to, she could just put him in jail. If she really wanted to, she could have pressed charges. So I think she's trying to do what's best for her and the baby, but she's also trying to find some type of middle ground, because she can, prosecute him fully if she really wanted to. But I think what's making this even harder is that's her first child, and her first child's with him. So I feel like she's trying to go about it a bit differently, because there's more to it. It's not just, someone she was dating. This is her baby's father. So I think she's trying to go about it wisely and safely for her and the baby, but she's trying not to take it as far as it can go, because it is her baby's father, which that's a lot, and she really doesn't have to do that, in my opinion.
I agree.
But yeah, we just wanted to hop on to say that. And is there anything else you wanted to say?
Just make sure that if you see warning signs with your family and friends, that you be more alert. I mean, I know we have our own lives and we get caught up in our own lives, most of the times, a lot of times. But if you see somebody acting a little different, or they're changing who they are, question them, and see if something's going on. Is there something happening that you can't tell? You know what I mean? Just kind of ask questions instead of just assuming that everything's okay. Because you can look at a person and they smile and you think everything's okay, and that doesn't be the case. That's not the case. They're going through on the inside, and some people don't know how to tell anybody to let them in, because a lot of times people are very private. I know I'm very private. And a lot of people are very private, and they don't share things with just any and everybody. So when you're private like that, you need somebody that you could trust, to talk to, and to be able to let it out, to get a second opinion.
Well, we thank you for listening. We thank you for taking the time, and we thank you for supporting us with 45 plus episodes for 3 years, with thousands of listeners for 4 volumes. So thank you for continuing to support us and to listen to us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good day.
Whenever you're listening.